Hey, hi.
All right, YouTubers, do you want more love? Do you want more inspiration? And do you want more orgasms?
Let's do it.
Oh, we got it. Oh my
I have
gosh,
a comment.
dragonflies. Of course you have dragonflies. Okay, that's awesome.
Here we go.
Okay.
Or soul.
I found my cheerleader. And my cheerleader man. How do I say cheer man, Benny?
I don't think I'm considered a cheerleader.
Cheerleader.
Yeah.
Cheerleader,
Uh-huh.
aka superstar.
It goes on both sexes.
Isn't it superstar?
Yeah.
Exactly. Spirit fingers.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Let's catch that vibe.
Yes. Oh, to the YouTube world, you can see what's going on. For us in terrestrial radio, hello to the Pacific Northwest. Hello to the world. I know I've got some Nordics. I got some Mexicanas. I got some Swedes. I got some Swiss. They're all like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for the show. And so funny.
Oh my gosh.
What you drinking there, Benny?
Oh, Café au lait. Just remember that. Jean-Luc. No, not really.
No, okay.
Just regular cup of Joe.
Regular cup of Joe.
Uh-huh.
Cup of Joe. How you doing, Benny?
I'm good. It's
Yeah.
Tuesday. There's a lot going on today, and I'm excited for the show too.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and I know I did this on YouTube, but now I'm going to tease everybody in radio world. I don't know about you, Benny. I want more money. Do you?
Yeah.
Clients, inspiration. What if it doesn't bring you income, as my guest says, and if it doesn't bring you inspiration, if it doesn't bring you orgasms. Then why?
Exact order?
No, not in that exact order. Okay. All right. For those of you in terrestrial radio, bear with us here. And if you want to see us on YouTube goofing off and having a great time, all you got to do is go to YouTube. Pull over. No driving, please. Go to YouTube, type in 1150, and we are right there having a great time. Today, I have Todd on the show today in the Gratitude Cafe. I'm super excited. Really quick before we get started, I've had a couple questions about my training program, the C2C course that's online. And my birthday month. I'm celebrating all of March. And when I celebrate, you celebrate, and I'm loving on you. So it's a win-win, right? It's called Share the Love. And you buy 2 sessions with me and you get the third one free and you get to share it. Now there's a time limit. So make sure that you look for that and the disclaimer so you understand all the rules and regs. I don't want any confusion. All you got to do is go to Lundquist.com. You'll see all the information right there. If you get the newsletter, you'll see it there as well. We've been posting on Instagram. So Instagram, social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of those beautiful social medias as well. So you guys know I talk about old fears, shedding old beliefs, all that drunk monkey, that stuff in your head. That is why I created the C2C. And I was talking to Don before the show, and the irony of all of this, we teach what we most need to learn, right? And I know that I sought out real life practical tools to help me self-regulate, help me to stay clear in my 3D world. Yes, I'm extremely tapped into the 5D realm in that world. However, I'm so deep-seated in practicality. We have bills, we have in-laws, we have producers, we have guests, we have kids. And we have to self-regulate and love and have compassion. And boy, with everything else that's been going on within the world too, I've got quite a few people reaching out to me saying, Sue, how do you do it? How do you sustain that joy and that vibrancy? And how do you keep up that energy? And I'm like, well, I do the work. I walk the talk, and that's it in a nutshell. So if that interests you and you want to either have one-on-one coaching with me, Sue, you are welcome to do that. You just call, or don't call. No, don't call. No, hang on. You just email supersue@gmail.com. You're welcome to do that. Or go to Lundquist.com and look up coaching. Or if you'd like to do an online program, which we've created, Lundquist.com, the letter C, the number 2, and the letter C. All right, let's go back to living more love, living more life, and, making more money and more inspiration, more money, more orgasms. I mean,
right?
Right?
Yeah, right. Let's do that.
Dawn. All right, Dawn, what was that, Benny? What?
Get some.
Get some. I love this. Dawn talks. She's the conscious junkie, author, and speaker. Ditto, researcher. Yes, I love that. Some of my language thrown in there. But Dawn Todd, she helps women in business love more, live more, and make more. Double, triple your income, clientele. Yes, please. That's why we're here. I love this consciousness and this conversation around this. So Dawn offers tools and strategies, the 3D, the practicality, which I love, to help business owners double their client income or cash in 90 days, folks. 90 days. Sign me up with the power of community, intention, and grounded business practices. Dawn, welcome, love.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so honored, so excited. I just am awestruck, a little starstruck over here.
Well, likewise. I'm like, oh, when your PR company sent me the bio, I'm like, oh, hands down, yes. I could feel it. You know, one of those moments where you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I definitely was tapping into our mutual field and our all the fun that we could have, and just the deep connection that together our conversation will spark for people. Completely. So exciting to feel into that. So thank you.
I love that. No, thank you. And I love that conversation, that language, and that sense of community, even just tapping in, right? That language. So yes, I can do the formal bio. And we talked about this at the beginning. Let's get to know Dawn. How did Dawn get to where she is, and inspiring and empowering and educating, and P.S. I love that necklace.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is my I think it's my little Acturian symbol. Yeah. Can I say that on real radio?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You're speaking our language. Not
I'm definitely that geek. So I have Mary Magdalene sitting on my Uranus in my natal chart.
Wow.
Makes you a little weird.
Yeah. No. That's not weird in our no.
In your world, that's not
at all.
Yep. This is the station for that. This is your
That's
wheelhouse.
exactly the station.
Awesome. Now nobody's gonna go what the hell did you do?
Oh no. You're in the absolutely perfect spot for that.
Oh my gosh. You know, I was thinking, there's often so many backstories, so much twists and turns in the road. I think that the major points I just wanted to talk about were being a body worker. So I used to own a medical massage clinic, and I did body work for a long time. And I still occasionally get on the table. I think once that's in your blood, you just don't walk away from that, And so most of the people I saw had head injuries or post-traumatic stress disorder. So I have a lot of training in sensory motor psychotherapy and body-mind modalities. And I knew, because I applied for an upgraded insurance policy, that I've done over 10,000 table hours, 10,000 hours with people.
Wow.
Just a lot of time with people in healing, and a lot of coaching too, with that. And that business was amazing, and it ran completely on intention. It doubled, it tripled. I didn't do any advertising. It was really all energetically based until our state legislature changed the way that insurance billing could be done, because it was a lot of insurance billing.
Yeah.
And that business just dropped like a stone. And I remember thinking, if intention is so powerful, what the heck is happening here, right? Why is this? Sometimes, as we all know from the last year, sometimes there's forces at play that are larger than us, right?
Oh, hands down, yeah.
And we have to learn how to navigate and swim with that. But that was really this moment where I was like, look, I'm making a lot of money as a massage therapist, enough to be the primary breadwinner and support my 5 kids and my new husband and buy a house, and from intention, so something is happening here and now it's not, and I am going to figure out what the heck just happened. And I want to share that with people, because I have 5 daughters and 2 bonus daughters. So my husband and I have 7 daughters, and I know the divine feminine is alive and well at my house.
Oh my God. to the radio world. I'm bowing down to Dawn.
I don't know, but and they're all grown up, of course. I mean, they're all adults. And but just like the struggles, just if you see your own children in that struggle and other women, like in Wildly Successful Women, our networking group, and like my passion is just helping women feel the most empowered, the most open, the most free that they can feel to take the opportunities that are there for them. Because what happens when women are empowered? Like, they change the world.
What I hear you say when you say those adjectives, I hear safety. You provide a safe space. And that is hands down one of the top things I talk about in my coaching practice too. Because if you don't, and I know, and I'm sure you know, if you don't feel safe, you're not gonna open up. You're not, no.
No, and I've so been thinking about this, like this last year, of this deep sense of lack of safety that almost everybody has. And it is, I'm just going to be bold and say it's impossible to manifest if you are stuck in the cortisol chaos. And getting out of that cortisol chaos is, I think, the most important thing that we can do right now as a species, because we're cut off almost from our manifesting power, which is why it's so important. Your show is so important now, like even more so than it was, like super important.
Thank you. And let's back up, because I advocate for the audience. Let's talk about that cortisol and that release and that spin out. People are like, what are you talking about? I mean, they've heard it before, but let's have Dawn have that conversation, please.
Yeah, let's talk about that together, because what happens when you're just in cortisol all the time? Well, you're anxious, right? Your gut acts up. You feel kind of vaguely depressed and overstimulated. You probably are eating a lot of junk food, sugar, potato chips. Cortisol is sort of I'm just going to sit on the couch and hide until this all goes away kind of thing, right?
Yes.
Having body pain, just feeling unable to be in control of what's happening in your life is a symptom of cortisol overload. And gosh, I think, and every time
I
you
can
go
feel
out,
everybody just going, check.
Like, and even just like going to the grocery store. And so it's not a conversation about masks or their efficiency or anything. It's just a conversation of like, when you see someone in a mask, you think, gosh, something is wrong.
Yeah.
Right. So we see all these people in masks, and it just contributes to this fear that something is really wrong. And I think we just have to use all the tools that we have right now to kind of get back into our body and really tap into our flow and our, get out of cortisol, right? Get more into dopamine.
Yes, the dopamine, the happy love stuff. And the audience knows this too. It's that conversation around that. I want to talk about that in the intention and the business aspect of it too, because who wouldn't want more love, more business, more clients, and the big O? I mean, come on.
Right.
All of that above. I love that tagline. So that's why, of course, I'm going to keep saying it, because it's sexy and yummy. But as you can see, I've got, one of my things is choose, love, and trust. And that is not only one of my tools, or I've coined the CCs in life, compassionate curiosity. So it takes that sting that, out of the response or the resentment, right? And how can we as a society, and business owners, as super women, keep that above the line mentality and outside of that cortisol? Let's stay in that above the line mentality, that gratitude, that love. And even though we don't know what the heck's going to happen, we don't. We just know that we've set the intention, right? At least we hope that we have. And there's going to be a little bit of zigzags on the way. So how do we sustain that frequency? How do we, if you can take a couple examples, whether it's in business or personal, I'd love to hear it.
So I think one of the ways we sustain that frequency is, first of all, deciding every single day who we are going to be. And this is probably the most overlooked and underused tool that we have available to us, is deciding every day who we're going to be, and then followed up by keeping our promises to ourselves. Because when we say, and you have kids, I have kids, what happens when you tell your 3-year-old, we're going swimming this afternoon, and then it rains? Do they just bug the heck out of you all afternoon? Yes.
Well, if you live in Washington, it's kind of expected, so you might as well just go.
Okay. Or what, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
like
totally,
they're just nagging you. And so when we as adults, we tell ourselves, I'm going to meditate every day, and we don't do it. And then all day long, there's that drip of, man, why didn't you do that? See, you're kind of just a screw up. Your mother was right. Like, you can't do anything right. You can't even meditate, for Pete's sakes. Why? Like, it's just a downward spiral.
The drunk
right?
monkey.
Yes. So if we can just say, I'm gonna decide today who I am. Do I want to be this person that is the intoxicated monkey who's just drinking more jungle juice and getting more and more lit? Or am I going to be the person that just for a minute uses a tool, right? Goes to Sue Lundquist's page and listens to a podcast on the way to work. Like, girl, the world would be changed if everybody just did that. Just listen to you.
Oh, thanks.
Seriously.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Like that's, I mean, and people just have like this amazing free tool, right?
Yeah.
Or if they're still stuck, like, have a conversation with somebody. That's where the magic happens. I don't want to discredit, like, I'm not a fan of the 100 people on the phone for a transformation program. I think
I like smaller myself.
Me too.
Yeah.
I like a small, intimate thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the energy and the engagement. Yeah, I would agree with that. 1, thank you. 2, and the audience knows this as well. And I'm going to just throw this out there to you, Dawn. The number one, as much as we can invite them to watch, see, read XYZ, the audience knows I talk so much about the awareness.
Mm-hmm.
If we're in denial, if we're in spin out, if we're in resentment, we're in fear, we're in cortisol rush, we're addicted to that, we're in denial. We're not in that space of consciousness, that awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, meditation is really phenomenal on that. And yes, exactly, your tools on deciding and literally practically deciding who you're going to be and show up that day. And audience, are you guys catching that? Dawn's giving you some really good practical tools, and there's a lot of free tools there. I mean, they're free. You've got to choose yourself versus victimhood, right?
So I want to just say something about that too. And I just want to, it just makes me really emotional, but I really have this sense of how much people are struggling right now.
Yes.
There is, it makes me think about all those workshops. You and I have probably taken millions of them, right? Those weekend workshops, and there's 30 people in the room. And then maybe 1 or 2 people out of those workshops end up doing something professionally with it. But it's, like, there's so many people that are trained in so much. Like my next door neighbor could be a great, whatever she is, coach, whatever. But there's so many people out there that are trained. Like, let's empower those people to use the training, even if it was a weekend that you had, right? Just think about what kind of gift you can offer right now. Inside you, deep down somewhere, you have something to offer. So find somebody, your next door neighbor, the 80-year-old lady across the street who's wearing a mask and afraid to go to the grocery store. Like, just try something like that, right? Because once we start that connection process and we start bringing our gifts to the world, then then we become more empowered, because we get out of our own anxiety. And of course, we're in our own anxiety. We're in the house. We can't go out. Things are scary out there. So do you see what I'm saying? Like, there
totally.
An easy way to just move the needle just a little bit. Because you and I and all the people who are awakening and tapped into spirit, we did not come here just to hang out in our houses until we die. And Oh, that's not what we were here for.
No, not at all. There was a thought that came up and now I've lost it, but that's all right. It'll come back again. I absolutely agree. Oh, that's what it was. The spin out, another thing, and this is something that I use for myself. If I have noticed, because I've noticed a little bit of cortisol with me and some sugar, and there could be hormones.
I'm like at the top of the list there, girl. Yeah.
And I walk the talk, and I'm, I've got a handful of tools, and I'm still in that, However, I choose to show up a certain way. I choose to behave for myself first and foremost, right? Going back to what you were talking about with anybody that has that passion, that, you've got that kind of squeaky wheel that's going, there's something that there's a couple of things that are coming up for me. One, when I go into that cortisol or that kind of ickiness or the drunk monkey, I look for service, to be of service, to just be of service. Other than meditating, but, doing healings or readings or helping somebody in public, it's a little weird there because there's some fear stuff around that, but I still do it anyways. I ask permission, but where I'm going with this is I love, and I'm of service to, not because it's something I need, it's because we all deserve it, right? It's
right.
Get out of my own way, go be of service, and make the world a better place. Right.
And so you're opening to the flow that's coming through you. It's kind of like when you do Reiki healing, you're opening to it. It heals you as it moves on through. So, there's so many, and I also wanted to just say how impressed I am with your ability to just say, hey, I've been in this cortisol. Like, it's hard. And I've been there too. Like, I think people see you on a YouTube video or hear you on a podcast, and they're like, that girl's got it all together. I'm just here to tell you I don't.
Don't put me on that box.
Don't put me on that box, right?
No.
I'm right there with you, sister, going through, okay, what are the tools I'm going to use today? And so I so appreciate that about you too.
Oh, thank you. Likewise. And again, that's the transparency and the vulnerability. It's the, if somebody, and I've talked about this before, somebody's going to give me birthing advice and they've never given birth. Like, yeah, I love you. Thank you. I know you mean well. But yeah, that's all right. Thank you. You know, and they mean well, right? And it's not that I'm judging it, and I'll just be like, okay, that's awesome. Thank you. I don't know where I was going with that. Maybe somebody needed to hear that. But anyway, and that was the thing with the dragonfly. Okay, so I'm going to, because you will appreciate this. So every Sunday I go live on Facebook, and I do, I talk about you I talked about you and kind of launched into today's show. And then I open it up to readings. And I was giving this gal a reading, and I'm like, interesting. What is it about the dragonflies? And mind you, it's on Facebook, so I don't get a lot of interaction. I'm just like, I'm getting the download, and I'm like, what's with the dragonflies? There's meaning behind that, yada, yada. And she's like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, it's meant for somebody. Somebody needs to hear this message about dragonflies. No kidding, Dawn. This morning, I got a message in my Facebook Messenger going, I haven't talked to you in so long. I happened across your Sunday show, and it happened to be about dragonflies. I was on your team when you were a team leader in, I think it was Oregon, and we talked about dragonflies. And here you are, Dawn, sipping on your cup with a dragonfly.
Right? There you go.
Like, there's all these, I love the alignment. It's just the messages of the dragonfly, which I should probably look that up and talk about. But helping women in business love more, live more, make more, setting the intention. We talked about the emotional aspect of it and kind of, the cortisol and I brought that up, and I believe it was brought up because people need to have the education and the awareness that, oh yeah, maybe that is what's going on. Okay.
Right.
And giving them the permission to say, oh, okay, that's okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now my glasses are on. Now it's time to figure out what to do.
Right. What are we going to do about this? Right.
What are we going to do about this?
What are we going to do about this? So the first thing we're going to, and I'm going to just say that we want to decide how let me back up. I have so many thoughts going on in my head about this. You know,
I know.
You are a lively, you're zippity. There's no doubt about that.
Bring it all in.
Bringing it all in. So the first thing I would recommend is to decide how it is that we're going to apply this energy. Like if we're in the business conversation, okay,
Yep.
there's a concept called a key indicator. Key indicators are the most important number you can pay attention to in your business. And oftentimes there's many, many key indicators across, a business. So I want my clients to find the one key indicator that makes the most difference in their business. And here's how you can find that. It always indicates that your business is growing or expanding a little bit. So when it's going up, you have a feeling like everything is going to be okay. When it's decreasing, you have a little anxiety because as it decreases, it's going to shift your flow of revenue. Okay. It's not always about money. And it's also tied to your energy field. So you have I'll say almost like a symbiotic relationship to it. So as a entrepreneur, our businesses are in our Akashic records, which is why I learned how to read business Akashic records for my business coaching clients, because they're in the Akashic records. So we have this, relationship with it. And maybe most importantly, it also gives us the idea of increasing this key indicator, gives us a little titillation. I guess I'll use that Disney word of, the little birds are chirping.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like a little party in your pants about this would be
all right, with the party in your pants, Benny, let's take a quick commercial break. Benny's like, yes, thumbs up. All right. We're talking with Todd. We're talking in the business format and how to apply. She's specifically talking about the key indicators. If it feels expansive or contracted, my word. So expansive.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Or contracted. With the party in your pants, we're going to be right back. We're live on YouTube. So if you want to join us there, just go to YouTube 1150 and we'll see you guys back in just a couple minutes. Sue Lundquist here with the Gratitude Cafe. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Yay, so YouTubers! Party in your pants.
Party in your pants. That's just fine.
Oh, I love it. All right, so YouTubers. Todd, love more, live more. I love this. We're wildly successful women. And the feminine intention mentor. I love that trademark.
Thank you. Hello.
The feminine intention mentor. It's like I use words authentic and genuine to anchor in. When we're talking to the audience and the audience here on YouTube, choosing who and how you're going to show up, defining what that looks like if you are genuine and authentic to yourself. And I know for myself, and maybe you can allude to this or talk to this as well. Back when I started, and that doesn't mean there's iterations even now, but when I first started this journey, I didn't even know what authentic and genuine love meant for me. I had to figure that all out. And there's different iterations of that moving forward, not bigger, better, greater, just an expansion, right?
Right.
So when I talk to people, and I love that tool of what you were talking and alluding to earlier in the radio, is just you decide in the morning who you're going to be. And you follow that up and you keep doing that. Whether it's, I'm going to do meditation, I'm going to pick up that cookie, or I'm going to go for a walk, It's the choice and having the awareness. Go ahead, Dawn.
Yeah, I was thinking about a little bit about the biology of that, which I might want to dive into when we come back on the radio, because women have a very advanced set of neural wiring in the pelvic bowl. And I really want to talk a little bit about that, because I feel like this, I was noticing it in the grocery store the other day when I'm walking through the grocery store, like everything I was feeling was like from the waist up.
Wow.
Like I hate
to interrupt. We got to come back.
Oh, are
Yeah.
we? Okay, let's
Thank
do that, love. Let's do that.
Yeah, I saw him make that motion. He's like, stop talking.
All right, welcome back. We ended with party in your pants. Benny, how you doing?
I don't know if I really want to comment on that.
I know, but you know what? Let's just.
But I mean, if you want to, I'm here.
Bring it back in. Hey, more
Sure.
love, more life.
We'll go with that.
Let's go with it, baby.
Let's go with it. And I love that conversation that we were having on YouTube, and we will come back to that in just a minute. I wrote myself a note. Audience, if you're just tuning in, well, yeah, little turkey, you got to go back and listen to the first half of the show. You can go to SueLundquist.com/newsletter. You can get the newsletter. And of course, you can go on my blog in about 24 hours and actually listen to the show. You can do that on iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud as well. Dawn Todd is joining us, and she's a business coach, and she teaches her clients how to triple their income, more inspiration. And I love that. More inspiration, more money, and more orgasms. And why would you not want any of that? I mean, and this is all abundance, guys. I mean, yes, I use the word orgasm, but we know the joy that comes from and the energy that it provides.
And I want to talk about the rewiring of the brain that happens with orgasm.
Yes. You want to do that now, or do you want to talk about the indicators? What would you like?
Yeah, I'll finish the key indicator conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go back to the wiring and already. Yeah,
basically, if you can land on what this number is that's really driving the result, it's not always money. Sometimes it's clients. It's a certain kind of client. I've had clients track number of kept appointments in their therapy business, number of clients who come from a very specific referral source, sales that only come in on a credit card machine versus a cash sale. Okay. And there's very specific energetic reasons for each person why that is the thing that's really driving their business. And then it makes it super easy, like, because we're tapping into this energy, we already have this relationship with it. Right. So we're just increasing that, because what we focus on, we get more of, right? And what we focus on with pleasure and desire and feel, it feels good, then we get more of that, right? I mean, it's really not rocket science. So
but again, there's society, and we get spun out and all this other stuff, and victimhood, and they're like,
and doubling in 90 days is also super easy, because if you have 5 clients and you want to have 10, and if month 1 you have 5, and month 2 you have 7 or 8, and month 3 you have 10. I mean, it's just a small incremental, and then you really did double in 90 days, right? So if you can do it once, you could do it again.
And you've created the neural pathway and the 5D energetic.
Yes, you've created the possibility for that. And I love that neural pathway part, because, our brain gets wired in this way where we think things aren't possible. And, there's a couple things that unwire it. One being conscious breath work. So I'm a big advocate of morning, daily, deep breath work. And also conscious orgasm. So very intentional self-sex with intentions in mind is a way of using sexual energy for manifesting, even if you're in a solo partnership.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. I love this. And we're going to go into the segue of the rewiring, because I think that's so powerful. And creating that energy of the sacral energy of that. I mean, that's where we make all the babies, and,
right.
I mean, come on. Of course, there's tons of fire. Of course.
Right. And then, and in business, if you think about having like 3 power centers, I often draw them like snowmen. This lower power center is about our sexuality, our money, our soul calling, our most authentic work lives in that part of our body. The middle part of the body is about the sales process, like asking for the sale, saying what's true for us, being very comfortable in that sales process. And the upper power center is about marketing, getting your business out, having a big vision of where it's going. And so often, and I'll just say sort of the patriarchal way of building a business is from the top down. So it's what's the size of the market, and how many widgets do I need to build, and who's going to build it? And then finally it gets around to the money. It's a descending flow, and it's great. I love how men manifest, but women do not manifest like that. We have to start with, okay, does it feel good? Am I aligned with it? Could I really rest in this? And then we'll think about it and we'll say, can I talk about it? We might talk about it with a friend, and then it manifests. And so this ascending flow of energy in business is why so many women lose their footing, because they're so cut off from their below the waist. Like, like I was saying on the YouTube break, like we feel so much energy above the waist, not very much below the waist. So that's
wait a minute. Oh, Dawn, that was beautiful. We got to back up a minute, because not only did you give an awareness, but you gave permission for women to change their paradigm on business, on how they think, and for them to understand that, of course, maybe this wasn't quite as abundant or fruitful for you. Regardless of any opportunity, it's all lesson learned. You're still learning. That's where I'm going.
Right.
Still, where you're saying, Dawn, is a different way. Men hear first in the brain, hear meaning, YouTubers and radio.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah, it's the Think and Grow Rich recipe. And it's amazing. It works.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But for women, I think there's a different way that's more authentic, because it takes into account our soul calling. Because when a soul is fully embodied, it buckles into the perineum, right? So that's why I was a business coach for about 12 or 13 years. And then I became a sex coach, because I wanted to understand, what is it about orgasm and sex and pleasurable intercourse and saying yes to yourself in that way? Because it's so
yes to yourself.
Yes to yourself. Right?
Liberating.
Because you're saying yes to your business too. So when you're cut off from that, no wonder money is a struggle, right? Yeah. Again, back to the first of our conversation, like cortisol cortisol is like the anti-nookie hormone.
We want more nookie. Nookie.
Right?
Like Benny's like, oh dear.
Betty, you should come to my family dinners with my 7 daughters. I would
thoroughly enjoy that.
My husband is always like, oh, here we go. We're talking about boobs, periods.
Yeah. All of that.
All the
Benny's got 2 twin boys too.
Mm.
Yeah, but I'm there to comfort your husband in this. So, because he's obviously overwhelmed with so much. I'm like, I got you, bro. I got you.
Yeah, good. He's a strong man. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, with all that feminine energy. I love that. Say yes to yourself. Audience, are you catching this? Dawn is here. Say yes to yourself. Dawn Todd, business coach. No, please go ahead.
I'm going to just challenge the audience to say yes to yourself in the next 24 hours by having
it literally energy.
I was like, did she just have a little orgasm there? Like, that's what I was going to tell you to do. Like, wow, I told you that girl was zippy. Like,
wait, I felt the energy of everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoop.
Yeah. So I'm going to just ask people to, have an orgasm in the next 24 hours, but it's not like, don't just rub one off. Okay.
Yeah,
just
really.
like have a minute with it. Like just enjoy yourself. Benny, I could just see his laughing his head off there.
I am thoroughly enjoying the conversation.
It goes both ways, men and women. Men and women,
yes, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Obviously I have 7 daughters. Obviously I have a lot of experience in talking to women. And I would so value having this conversation with a man who's working in this realm too, because I'm sure they're out there. Yeah. But I'm just, I'm in the girls' world right now. So
I'll introduce you to a few people in the men's world
that would be awesome. That would be a fun conversation. Yeah.
So I'm going to swing us back around. So it's liberation. It's that energy, and I can feel it moving already through me. It's spiraling and activating, right? I can feel it. So that means the audience, there's something going on with the audience.
Yes, right. See, that's what we said. We're going to do this together.
Yeah. Wiggle. Just bring it out. But seriously, yes, we're talking inspiration. Yes, we're talking intention. Yes, we're talking moving of energy, orgasms, sacred. And the moving of energy, people, this is sacred, authentic, intended energy. This is an energy that you're really focusing on for you. This isn't about anybody else. This is about you getting into yourself and loving yourself and getting that energy moving, because there's so much opportunity in that and so much liberation. And I can't tell you, over the last few years, that's one of my biggest lessons, the biggest. It's been incredible. And I love when women become activated and move, men and women, actually. I've witnessed all of it, and it's beautiful. But let's swing back around, because we were talking and talking about how this energy, how this affects the business world. And audience, I'm going to remind all of you what Dawn was saying about the difference between men and women and their thought processes about business. You gave them permission, and you gave them the language that said, oh no, us women, we engage a little bit different. We want it authentic. We want it aligned. Is that the correct word, right?
Yeah, we want to feel like what we're bringing to the world is aligned with our soul knowing, our soul mission.
Now, are you still doing the Akashic business records as well? Are you still doing that actively?
Oh, yeah.
That is super fascinating too. I've had the Akashic records done personally, but I hadn't had or heard of the business side before. I don't know how I missed that.
But doesn't it make sense? I mean, it's like, if we're of course our business is in our records. So of course, and the business has a consciousness of itself, right? It just like our kids, it has I told you I was Uranian, but I warned you.
Oh.
The business has a consciousness of itself. It has something that it wants to accomplish. It has a purpose for being, and it's being birthed through us. So we want to make sure that what we're doing is in alignment with the business itself, and that we're bringing it to fruition, because it has a soul experience it wants to have also, right?
Oh,
so
yes,
that's another reason to look at Akashic readings.
How do people get a hold of you, Dawn?
They can go to dawntodd.com. You can email me at dawn@dawntodd.com or Instagram.
Yeah. Follow the links that we've posted all over the place. I really dig that. So, and having the insight from the Akashic records on the business side, and an audience, hear us out here. If it feels right, it feels right. If it's not in a line right now, that's totally fine too.
Yeah, cool.
And they're all modalities. And you hear me talk about this at my show, what I do, wherever I'm at, it's new thoughts, new ideas, new perspectives. It's a new you. What feels right resonates at that moment. Great. Come back to it. It's like going back to your favorite book. And there's a reason I'm going to get to this in just a minute. The Akashic records is the same type of thing. It's a modality. It is like getting back to the operating system. There's the soul's operating system. That's an insight, a valuable insight that Dawn can offer, in addition to the practicality of the 3D world, to back that up. Oh my God. Yeah. In addition to using that energy.
Right. Well, like the reason I learned how to do those was because the soul, when it's buckled, when you're fully embodied, the soul is in that creativity center, right? It's super connected. It's living with our sex, our money, our legacy, the things we leave behind, all of, it's so connected. So I wanted to find a way to really dive into that and have meaning and have tools for people, and then layer it with, how does sex coaching work? Like, how do we have better orgasms? And why aren't people having orgasms? And, all of that.
That's a whole, how about we have a whole other show?
We have another conversation about that.
We're going to have a whole nother, seriously, because there's so much, I can't tell you, years of interviewing people with sex education on terrestrial radar and off, because we can go into a different conversation when we're offline. And I would love to have that conversation with you and others about that. And it is an important ingredient in your life. It's so important to have And it's, you know, it's the sacred orgasm. It's mental, physical, all of that, and giving yourself that yes. And I love that, Dawn, you were saying, go in the next 24 hours, say yes to yourself, say yes to that orgasm. I mean, why not?
Right.
Right.
Right. And if it's hard to do that, or you just, it doesn't happen for whatever reason, just take that as some information. Okay. Why? Because
CC's
yeah,
in there.
yeah, it's just some information. What could I be curious about this? You know, like, gosh, maybe there's something to explore here, right? So no shame or judgment. It's not, oh my God, I didn't accomplish the intention. You know, being so focused on the orgasm itself is much like, you know, rushing through the grocery store just to get everything you need and get out in 5 minutes or less, right?
Right.
It's
metaphor
not
for life too, metaphor
right.
for business, right?
Slow down a little bit, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. A few minutes ago, it was so funny. Everything, it just went bing. I'm like, activated. So I heard the audience. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Here we go, baby.
Here we go. DawnTodd.com. Business coach, sex coach. You can also get, that's super juicy. I mean, all of it's super juicy, but I don't know why it wasn't on my radar before, but Akashic Records on the business aspect of it. And I dig that because it's like a baseline, right? And
it is kind of, yeah.
Right. And then everything in the practical world that you have applied, that your education and your coaching and your business. Hello, that's brilliant. We talked about the key indicators, and your niche, your specialty is growing that business, you know, doubling it, tripling it within 90 days. And it's just little tiny steps. You called it key indicators, and it's feeling into the expansion where your business feels expansion versus contracted. Contracted, my word. I think you used a different word.
It's understanding what's really turning the needle of revenue in your business.
Okay.
What's really bringing you the income, right? And how does that point to more revenue in an easier way, right?
Got you.
So as an example for you, your key indicator might not be number of overall listeners on your show. It's probably more about engagement, or I don't know. There's some other numbers probably that we could dive into, but you can track any number you want, right? But you want to track the one that has the most meaning to you. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And audience, did you catch that? The most meaning for you. And yes, she used the example for me for the radio program. However, you know, whether it's my coaching program, your entrepreneurial business, whatever that is, look at that. What does the key indicators point to? What is it pointing to?
What's it pointing to? Right.
What's it pointing to?
Mm-hmm.
DawnTodd.com. Where else should we go with this? I mean,
so I have something I wanted to give your audience, if that's okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I'm since it is your birth. So this is my newest book. It's called Manifest. Can you see it?
Oh, okay, hang on. Say cheese.
And this is a journal. And one of the things I'm super proud of this is that it has room on one side for your daily card draw. And then on the other side, it has room for your intentions of the day. So if you guys hit me up on Instagram at Love More, Live More, just message me there. I'll send you a copy. I'll send you a hardback book.
Wow.
And I think I have like 20 to give away. So I can't give away 100, but I'll give away the 20 I still got in the box. So I'm loving this. This is such a fun book.
I'll take one.
And then
I'll take one.
Yeah. Send me your address and I'll mail it to you.
Done.
And if you go to DawnTodd.com/podcast, I have a copy of my book before this one called Embodied Manifesting, and you can download it for free. Wow. And you can also get a copy of my Sexy Manifesting playlist on Spotify. I just tell you, it's not safe.
I saw that.
It's not safe for work, so be careful. I just want people to have tools that they can use that make sense, and it's taking it out of that esoteric, you know, sing kumbaya and hope everything works out.
Oh my gosh. Yes, my brain is spinning a bit here because there's plenty of other conversations that we could take this. You have shared, Dawn, quite a few insights and information. And the biggest one, or the biggest takeaway, and, you know, practically and energetically, is one, the safety to be yourself, the permission to say yes to yourself, the tools like you provide to inspire action, to inspire orgasm, to inspire money, to inspire that frequency and that energy. This is my takeaway, and I'm kind of recapsulating it and
I
saying
love
it for the
that.
audience,
Thank you.
right?
Yeah.
And being able to tap into the inspiration and the love energy and that spiral energy, and being able to utilize that in a business and I'm speaking more towards women right now, because you also gave us permission to think. It was a paradigm shift. I could feel it. Oh my God, that's why I think that way. And that's okay.
And, you know, I just want to say something about that really quick too, is that every structure that we experience in our life, schools, banks, the way houses are built, the way roads are built, automobiles, all of our transportation system, everything was created by men, and they did a damn good job of it, right? Men are brilliant at taking one idea and then just duplicating it over and over and over and over again. And they're so great at that. But that is not necessarily the way a woman's brain thinks. So we're more creative, we're more in that flow, and we don't necessarily duplicate something exactly every single time. So it doesn't necessarily work to look at it through the eyes of that Think and Grow Rich, or that, you know, marketing it doesn't start with the marketing conversation. How many times do I see entrepreneurs write a book and think that's going to make them money, and then don't have anything to sell on the other side of the book, right? You have to start with your coaching program first, your most authentic offering, how you want to serve people. And finally, can you talk to people about it? And then we'll talk about a book when you're finally ready to take it out into the world, because you can find, you know, like you've brought it up in an ascending flow of energy.
And I also hear you saying there's got to be a foundation piece, especially for us conscious, you know, spiritual people. There's aspects of us that get a little flighty, fully aware of that.
And so think of like that snowman model that I was talking about. And you probably, maybe you know a woman like this who's like super spiritual, beautifully engaged, would give you the shirt off her back, wonderful spiritual insights, but she always struggles with money. And if you were just to kind of look at her energy system in your mind's eye, like there's two really robust snowballs here and here, but there's nothing there. Like, you know, she's only got two snowballs in her snowman, right? There's just not any energy there. And that's not her fault. We'd have another conversation about why women don't drop into their sensuality and how it's been strongly discouraged for thousands of years.
That's
right?
a whole nother show.
It's a whole other conversation.
We're going to make that happen. Yes.
But so dropping into, you know, being okay with that and saying yes to that is a huge consciousness shift. But that's where we have to run our business from, because that's the intent, how we tap into the field of intention and really manifest like crazy.
That expansion. And audience, did you hear that? We've only got a couple minutes left here. It's the expansion. And Dawn, I think you will agree to this, taking some deep breaths, because we're riddled with cortisol, we're riddled with stimulation. Just literally take I coach about the Navy SEALs can do it, we can do it. I mean, come on. And it's free to use. Just take 5 deep breaths, fill your belly, you know, in and out of every nostril, back and forth, back, you know, and you will automatically feel completely different. Where I'm going with that, get yourself calm. Dawn Todd is giving, hopefully to 20 listeners, love more, live more. Go to the Instagram. I will post that also as soon as we get done with the live radio. I'll go on and post that as well. Her journal, because I want one. I love that. Give readings. And the biggest overall, you have permission to say yes to yourself. I'm going to get with Dawn, audience, because I can feel it. We're going to have a whole nother conversation off terrestrial radio about the big O and that
big O, baby.
The big O. And we will have that. We'll make it happen. Make sure you guys go to dawntodd.com. Go check out our information. look at doing a business coaching call with her? What about the Akashic records on the business aspect of it? It's another
if you go,
modality.
if you go to dawntodd.com and podcast, there's probably a link where you can get on my calendar, and then we can talk about how, what's right for you and how I can serve you. So yeah, it was so kind of you to mention that. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. All right, you guys, I can't believe our hour's already up. Dawn, what an absolute beautiful time with you.
Oh,
Thank you so much. Thank you
so much, my friend.
Oh, you're so welcome. Hang tight for just a minute. All of you guys, you know how to get a hold of us, SueLundquist.com/newsletter, SueLundquist.com. You'll get a hold of us that way. We will see you next week. And until then, each of you are a gift. Get out there and share yourself with the world.